season, and farmers have not received this subsidized fertilizer, Madam Speaker. I was in Narok 2 weeks ago, when I think about 3 weeks ago, we were together with the minority deputy whip, as well as the minority whip, Madam Speaker, and the people in Narok were really crying that they are getting fertilizer. Madam Speaker, I'll quote this. They are saying they are getting fertilizer kama machozi. Ni kidogo sana. So, Madam Speaker, this is an issue that if it's not addressed, it has got a serious effect in the economy, because it could actually take the economy back to where we were last year. If you don't get subsidies on time, and if you don't get this fertilizer on time, Madam Speaker, a place like Migori, where I come from, farmers have never seen anything like this, Madam Speaker. And Madam Speaker, I think that this issue is not only about getting this subsidized fertilizer. We must go to the core of business. And the core of business, Madam Speaker, is the people who are supplying this fertilizer. We need to know what are the ship lines for this fertilizer, Madam Speaker, that are supplying, that were given this contract to bring in the country. Which are these companies, Madam Speaker, given the tenders to be able to bring this fertilizer? And they must explain to us whether they actually really understood the scope of the farmers they need to supply. How many farmers were being targeted by this shipment? And if you cannot know the number of farmers, at least which regions were they certain that were going to give? Because if you talk about somewhere like North Rift, Madam Speaker, North Rift is where the serious backbone of leadership of this country comes from. Cherargei himself is a very serious member of this parliament and a ranking member of this house. And Madam Speaker, you know that the North Rift is also where our president, our dear president, who have got nothing against, Madam Speaker, but you know very well that, Madam Speaker, if you look at a place like Eldoret, you know, people right now are queuing in Eldoret. I saw it the other day, again, people are queuing for fertilizer up to evening, and then, 60% of the people are queuing there don't even get fertilizer. So, Madam Speaker, you can imagine if where Cherargei comes from, where the majority leader of this house comes from, where the president of this country comes from, people are queuing for fertilizer and they cannot get fertilizer. Just imagine somewhere like Nyatike, where I come from, Madam Speaker. Nyatike does not even have proper roads to begin with. If you go to Masangora in Kuria, it is at the far end of Migori County, Madam Speaker. If you go to a place like, in Rongo, where farmers really are passionate about doing agriculture and they're dedicated to do agriculture, Madam Speaker, imagine if there's no fertilizer in a place like Eldoret. How are they supposed to get this fertilizer, Madam Speaker? Madam Speaker, you remember last year, we did go to Turkana, where we spent time as a house in Senate Mashinani, and we went to a place like Katilu, irrigation scheme. And even there, Madam Speaker, you will realize that the distribution of fertilizer was only going to have a place like Lokicha and somewhere like in Lodwa, but Mashinani areas like Katilu, the fertilizer was not getting to those places. So this is something that I hope that we can have a bipartisan approach, and I hope that this won't be just one of those statements where Senator Cherargei is serviced with a response from the ministry. I think that the responsible minister or the CS must appear before the relevant committee, and I want to wish the courage some of the senators in this house, like the majority leader, to actually go there and make sure that this minister can be put to task to be able to answer to the fact that farmers are not getting this fertilizer. And as I